This is Mujib from North Country Kettlebells. Today I'm going to be taking a moment and talking a little bit about the concept of core muscle engagement. Now, core muscle engagement is the first principle of kettlebell training, and really it's the most important principle when picking up a kettlebell at all. If there's no real awareness of core muscle engagement in kettlebell training, then the kettlebell is typically going to feel pretty out of control. The training practice is going to feel a little bit reckless, and it's overall just going to have a good amount of wear and tear on the body that wouldn't be present if we were really considering actively engaging the core musculature. In order to get anywhere close to your actual strength capacity with a kettlebell, you have to understand how to engage and apply the core musculature to every lift that you do. This video aims to help you understand a little bit better what core muscle engagement is and how to apply it to your kettlebell training practice and beyond. So let's take a moment and talk a little bit about core muscle engagement. So when it comes to core muscle engagement and how it relates to progressive kettlebell training, I like to think that it is one of the things that makes the kettlebell such a valuable tool to use. The simple fact that you really can't make any sort of progression without an intentional focus on engaging the core muscles. It's the fact that kettlebell training requires an active and continuous engagement of the core muscles and a desire to get better and better at performing those techniques. And so there's a sequence of core muscle engagement that happens every single time that we pick up the kettlebell. And it's very obvious if that sequence is absent because the kettlebell no longer feels balanced or easy to control. You see, the kettlebell always wants to rotate around the wrist, the elbow, or the shoulder. And it wants to do this on each arm individually, right? Not to mention if I have a more dominant arm, right? If my right arm is my strong arm, my left arm is my weak arm, then there's going to be a level of rotation that wants to happen with the kettlebell that might be more felt on the left side than the right side, and then might translate in my mind to the fact that I'm just stronger on one side than the other. When in reality, the only way to truly control a kettlebell that's either heavy or that is starting to feel heavy because we're getting farther along in our sets is to actively think about the core muscles controlling that kettlebell. And so the best way to think about it is that the overall control of the kettlebell is really coming from the center of the body. It really is the active linking of the glute and abdominal muscles that creates the core muscle engagement that allows me to control the kettlebell with my torso as opposed to the individual joints of my arm and shoulder. The noticeable difference in control, strength application, and overall confidence is very clear and easy to trace, which makes it very easy to imprint the sensation of core muscle engagement on the muscle memory. Meaning that if I am moving a kettlebell and I'm very engaged as I'm moving it, my opposite hand is up, my glutes are engaged, my abs are engaged, and I'm pressing that kettlebell, and then for my next set, I don't have my opposite hand up, maybe I'm not engaging my glutes and my abs, then it's going to be very, very easy to see the difference between when I'm applying my core muscle engagement to my movement versus when my core muscle engagement is absent from my movement. And this is really what automates the core muscle engagement sequence beyond the gym and into activities of daily life. Because I'm telling my body, whenever I bend over to pick something up, I'd like you to engage the glutes, engage the abs, and keep proper posture. And so when I'm applying that in my weightlifting technique over and over and over again until it becomes second nature, my body is going to carry those benefits over into whatever else it is that I'm doing. So when I go to take the trash out, my glutes and my abs are going to engage. When I have to pull something down from a high shelf, then my glutes and my abs are going to engage. Right? I'm continuously telling my body that it's within my muscle memory. When I have to apply my strength to something, then it's going to call on the engagement and the active linking of my glutes and my abs. And now in my advanced technique, I really don't think about the physical kettlebell that much at all. Instead, what I'm mainly thinking about is this active bracing, as if that's really the only thing that I'm trying to practice, almost as if that's the button that I'm trying to press again and again and again. So if we apply this now to a kettlebell press, it's not that I'm trying to just put this kettlebell over my head. In fact, that's the last thing that I'm going to be thinking about is the kettlebell in my hand going up. I'm going to think as much as I can about bracing my glutes, about bracing my abs, and about applying the linking of my core muscles to every single movement that I do. And it's the more that I can brace my abs, it's the more that I can contract my glutes, and I can apply that force to pressing that kettlebell, that I'm actually gonna see all of the gains and the benefits, especially as I get stronger and stronger and stronger in the program. And so when we look at this engagement sequence, right, this idea that if I can actively engage these 3 simple cues, again, I see it as squeezing the glutes, bracing the abs, and squeezing both hands, I'm really going to continuously improve on all of these aspects. And those are the simple cues that we have to have. Now for me, in the beginning of my kettlebell training, all I really knew was squeeze the coin. That's the only concept that I knew how to apply. Nobody told me about bracing my abdomen actively. Nobody told me about actively engaging both hands. It was very simply just remember to squeeze the coin and everything will go how you want it to go. And that cue alone of squeezing the coin with the glutes got me through about 4 years of safe and effective kettlebell progression. Once I learned how to apply the abdominal bracing and the opposite hand to everything that I was doing, then all of my progressions solidified and my strength advancements really went through the roof. So there you have it. Core muscle engagement as it applies to kettlebell training and all the activities of daily living in which you might need to apply your strength and your structural stability. The basic concepts of core muscle engagement are squeezing the coin, bracing the abdominals, and actively engaging both hands simultaneously during every effort, especially unilateral or one-sided efforts. When doing all 3 together, you should be able to easily feel the connection of the hips and the shoulders to the core. As you become more familiar with the core muscle engagement practices, then you'll begin to realize that this is really the main thing that we're training, and we're using all of the different lifts, drills, and tools to challenge and positively affect this core muscle engagement. Because an active understanding for how to link the core muscles and apply them to the lifting practice is absolutely necessary to progress to the highest levels of kettlebell training, or really to work at your current strength capacity at all. Meaning if I'm strong enough to pick up a 50-pound kettlebell, but I don't feel comfortable doing that, then the chances are it's in this core muscle engagement that I'm gonna solidify my comfort and build my confidence for doing those lifts. And then it's a lot easier to apply these concepts to all the other activities of daily living that might require my strength application or my muscle engagement or my overall structural stability. So you can learn more about North Country Kettlebells by visiting northcountrykettlebells.com. You can reach out with any questions or comments that you have about any of the training practices that we offer. You can follow me on Instagram at NC Kettlebells or on Facebook, North Country Kettlebells. And you can always find more videos on training and my philosophies by searching North Country Kettlebells on YouTube or Vimeo. As always, this is Mujib from North Country Kettlebells talking about core muscle engagement. Enjoy.